Warning, we're seeing the collapse of retail, business, and overall employment as we know it. Few will survive, and many more will get crushed by the heavy weight of inflation and greed. Jobs are at risk, which means families are at an even greater risk. Steady income is on the line, savings account balances are disappearing rapidly, and middle class families are feeling the squeeze as the Fed puts pressure on their budgets, if they even have one, and these lower income families teeter on the edge of being one paycheck away from being homeless. So let me ask you guys a question. How much would it hurt you financially if you lost your job? Think about it. How about if you found a better job and it paid you more money than your current job? How much would it cost you? How much would you lose to switch careers or employers? But wait, Kevin, you said you found a better job that will pay more. So why would it cost anything to quit one and start working for the other? Yeah, funny you should ask, because some employers are now starting to charge ex-employees and hit them with huge bills for training expense reimbursement if they decide to quit, leave, put in their 2 weeks notice, or even get fired and attempt to excel and make further advancements in their career and income earning potential. Yeah, so there's that. And just before the worst retail holiday shopping season is kicked off and underway, major retailers like popular online shopping brands and brick and mortar establishments announced that they're going to begin charging return fees on unwanted items and sticking it to shoppers and consumers with buyer's remorse. These are the warning signs and red flags of what is coming. And if you want to know what I'm going to do now and continue to do to position myself and my family to be insulated to survive this mess, stick around and pay close attention. Dropping nuggets on this one, guys. Subscribe to the channel and give this video a like if you haven't already. I'm going to make this one quick and we're going to dive right into what's happening. There may be a lot of data, stats, and other information crammed in this video, and if I move too quickly, I do apologize. But prepare yourself to take notes, and you can always replay this video to drill down further on any of the information that you may miss as we go along. So while online shoppers may have grown accustomed to not only free shipping, but free returns as well, it's anything but free for retailers to take those items back. There's ground shipping to pay for and labor involved in processing, sorting, and preparing these goods to be resold. And now is the time we should all really expect to see this happening as we struggle to close out a challenging year financially for many retailers like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Macy's, and the like, and prepare for quite possibly a tougher time on the horizon starting in January 2023. Some companies have had enough, demanding that if customers want to send something back, they'll have to pay for at least part of that process. And if you thought these retailers were just going to cave and allow customers to receive a refund and still hang on to and keep the product, then you got another thing coming. This all started when the pandemic initially shut down physical retail stores and it accelerated the rate of online shopping. That online shopping boost was like a kick in the pants, and it also boosted the rate of returns as well. Kind of like Vin Diesel hitting his nitrous button in a Fast and Furious movie. And it doesn't just stop there, with customers being charged a fee to make returns. Now, we will cover more on that later in the video. But what is even more shocking is how more U.S. companies are now charging employees for training if they quit. Yes, folks, economic evolution. Now, where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, me. On previous videos. This is happening, and I hope you and your family is ready for this changing cycle. Now, I fear many won't survive the transition. It is what's called Employee Training Repayment Agreement provisions, and also known by its accurately suitable acronym, TRAPS. And more American workers are on the hook. So, to be honest, I expect the number to grow in 2023 and so on. Reports indicate that one woman in Washington state was charged $1,900 for training after she quit. She was shocked, to say the least. And this is happening all throughout different industries and market sectors like healthcare, trucking, retail, and other industries who complained recently to U.S. regulators that some companies charge employees who quit large sums of money for training. The Justice Department and Federal Trade Commission have received complaints about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and has begun reviewing the practice. A Los Angeles law school teacher said that employers are looking for ways to keep their workers from quitting without raising wages or improving working conditions, focusing on trapping even highly skilled employees with years of schooling, like nurses, from finding new jobs and ultimately restricting worker mobility in what is shaping out to be a devastating job market future. So, according to various sources, traps have been around since the 1980s and was primarily associated in high-wage positions where workers received valuable training on the job. But in recent years, the agreements have become more widespread. Businesses are feeling the lash of a long season of record high prices and sky high profits come back to bite them in the you know what. Struggling businesses and desperate employers are going to continue to come up with new, innovative, and exciting ways to stick it to the workers and nickel and dime their employees, which is only going to make matters worse and further drive down workforce morale. Yet another reason why I just can't see myself going back to work for corporate America. No matter how high the starting salary and compensation package offers get, I know what happens in the long run, so I'll respectfully decline. This is a prime example of why we're seeing more and more quiet quitting in the workplace, and enforcing new penalties like charging employees for training if they decide to resign is only going to continue to make matters worse. To make matters even worse, employers have even gone as far as to file lawsuits in small claims court to recover the money they said old employees owed the businesses. National Nurses United even said they conducted a survey that found that the agreements are increasingly ubiquitous in the healthcare sector. Pay attention. The survey found that thousands of nurses were required to take training programs, and a large portion of them were required to pay employers back if they left before a certain time. Now, this implies that even if you are fired, you will still be obligated to repay the employer for training, possibly hundreds or even thousands of dollars. I wonder if they'll even make people pay them back if they get laid off. And the worst part about it was that most of the nurses said they were not told about the training repayment requirement before beginning work, and that the classroom instruction often repeated what they had already learned in school. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters said in comments that training repayment demands were particularly egregious in commercial trucking, and that firms like CRST and CR England train people for commercial driver's licenses, but charge more than $6,000, $6,000 if they leave the company before a certain time. I mean, this is just unbelievable, but par for the course. Think about it. Anytime you have a training contract for low-skilled workers, everyone should be asking, but why?
Why? Why? Why? Why? Why?
If you have a good job and a good employer, then you don't need a training contract. Perhaps people are just going to want to stay because they like working there. So in other words, these companies are warning potential employees that the work environment is toxic and is not conducive to long-term employment and satisfaction while working for that company. High turnover rates are about to get even higher, or we may see a sharp decline in employment altogether. But that's the main goal, isn't it, Jerome?
Moreover, there will very likely be some softening of labor market conditions. While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain to households and businesses.
And so it boils down to businesses, retailers, companies all across the board. They're looking at ways to beef up profits, all while finding new ways of innovation, technology, and AI to replace the human workforce. We are seeing a big shift in retail as more companies look to develop online shopping experiences and utilize warehouse distribution centers and do away with physical store locations and the traditional brick and mortar. But perhaps this isn't all rainbows and sunshine. As retailers are beginning to feel the pain, the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell had talked about during his briefing at the Jackson Hole Summit. With most recent reports of retailers seeing hundreds of millions of dollars in returns from online shoppers, shoppers often bracket their purchases, which means they'll buy multiple sizes and or colors of the same item and then send back what they don't want. And at the time of recording this video, the National Retail Federation shared that shoppers sent back about $100 billion worth of merchandise they bought online in 2020. Now in 2021, that amount jumped up to about $218 billion. Now, the average retailer sees about $166 million in returns for every $1 billion in sales. And this creates a massive headache for retailers who have to shell out to get those items back, a process that's gotten even more expensive with inflation and higher shipping and labor costs. So you have to think about not just the cost of shipping, but it's also the cost of labor. It's the cost of maybe cleaning that item, repairing it, to potentially repackaging it to make it look better so that the next customer that's receiving it does not realize that it's already been in the hands of another customer. One estimate found that it costs a company 66% of the price of a product to process a return. Another found that a return can cost a company $10 to $20, and that doesn't include the cost of freight. So this means that retailers are losing, on average, millions of dollars every year by letting you return your unwanted goods for free. And that is going to come to an end quick, fast, and in a hurry. Fast fashion retailer H&M said recently that it plans to start testing a return fee to see how customers react, while Zara recently added a fee of $3.95 for returned merchandise, and JCPenney, Abercrombie & Fitch, and J. Crew also charge for returns, which is typically around $8. And those who are charging customers to send back their unwanted items are averaging about $7.50 for that fee. Some companies have taken a different approach by offering free returns, but only to its most loyal shoppers. That's right, get the shopper card. So at DSW, for example, customers are charged $8.50 for a return unless they're members of the company's higher tier VIP rewards program, which require an annual spend of at least $200. All the while, budgets are being stretched, money is tight, and inflation is steadily on the rise. Now, if you ask me, this looks like a recipe for slowed sales, leaving companies further questioning their ability to drive profits and scratching their heads on how they will further increase cutbacks to stay afloat, while consumers are forced by the Fed to spend less and more likely to hang on to every dollar they have to avoid running the risk of being charged to make a return. And so at the end of the day, it is all going to come down to budgeting. And households that don't have a budget and or don't have a budget that is under control are going to be at great risk of being wiped out. Wiped out by inflation, high prices, fees, back charges, bills, emergency expenses, and more. The list goes on and on. The money printers have been turned off and off for a while now, and it's drying up savings accounts for American family bank accounts, and at an alarming and accelerated pace. Most American families don't have enough in savings as it is to cover unexpected expenses while relying heavily on credit cards and maxing out their limits just to get by, only to see this problem compounded by bad budgets or even worse, no budgets at all. Now, I've put together a video about getting started using what is called Dave Ramsey's zero-based budget, and it is simple and easy, and anyone can do it. Check out this video here if you want to get started now, and make sure you watch the Economy, Money, and Finance playlist with tons of videos and helpful information to help your family save money, tighten their budgets, and learn how to increase their household money flow with side hustle and passive income streams. You guys take care, be safe, and I'll see you on the next one.